Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about property taxes and how they're like a wealth tax on America's low and middle net worth families. So if you like this topic and want to hear more, like this video and subscribe and comment down below. Alright, so first we should talk about how income property tax brackets work. I think there's common misconceptions that when your income crosses certain boundaries, your tax liability will skyrocket and you'd be better off making less money. That's not true. Clearly here you can see that the brackets only affect these amounts between these start and end ranges and gradually go up as you make more money. The brackets are different for singles versus married filing jointly and other tax categories. But here you can see this is your tax liability if you file as a single versus your taxable income on the x-axis here. So you can see as you make more money, your tax liability does increase and it gets steeper and steeper, but it's nice and smooth and there's no big steps as your income goes up. But typically for taxes, we do expect people with more means to pay more, and that's kind of a feature of this and what this is meant to do. And same for married filing jointly here. You can see as the taxable income goes up, so does the taxable amount, both as an absolute value and as a percent of the taxable income. And this feature where the tax liability increases as a percent of the taxable income as the taxable income increases is what's known as being a progressive tax system. Rather than a regressive tax system where those with less income are penalized and taxed at a higher percent of their income than people with greater income. Now, in contrast, if instead of looking at income taxes, we look at property taxes in the US, which of course are proportional to the amount of property that you own. If we look at this chart from Visual Capitalist with data from the Federal Reserve's Survey on Consumer Finances, we can see that the amount of assets that families own in their primary residence as a percent of their total net worth is the highest, almost 50% for those under 100,000 or under a million of net worth in their family. And since there are no taxes based on the size of people's stocks allocation or business interest allocations, this means that America's poorest net worth families are paying property taxes on a large part of their assets that make up their net worth, whereas the richest families are paying that property tax on a smaller part of their net worth and don't have taxes to pay on what makes up a larger share of their asset classes. Now, if we try to look at how much of an effect these property taxes have on low and middle net worth families' tax liability, here from Smart Asset, we can see where I live in Harris County in Houston, Texas. The average county tax rate is just over 2%, which means that, as we saw in the other graphic, if property makes up over 50% of low and middle net worth families' net worth, that means that they would be getting taxed 2% on roughly 50% of their net worth, which means 1% of their net worth every year would be going to paying this tax. But actually it gets even worse than that, because what's shown here is just families' equity in their homes, but they're actually taxed on the full assessed for tax value of their homes, which might be 5 times this amount. So really, these families may be paying up to as much as about 5% of their net worth each year in property taxes. And as we can see here on CNBC, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are proposing a wealth tax of 2 or up to 3% for those over $1 billion net worth each year. But my question is, why are we taxing America's low and middle net worth families already at this proposed wealth tax rate when the richer getting away with this and don't have to pay this because they have more control over how much real estate and property they own. If you're with me and don't think that property taxes make sense in this context where America's richest families have so much more control over what proportion of their net worth is in real estate, go ahead and like this video and subscribe and comment down below. If you have other ideas of how the tax system could be improved or anything I might have missed in this video, also please comment down below. I'm super interested to hear what you have to say. Thanks.